Have you ever wondered why some people speak English so naturally, as if the words just flow from their mouths? They don't stop to translate. They don't hesitate. They just speak. It seems effortless, right? But here's a secret. Fluency isn't about memorizing thousands of words or knowing every grammar rule. It's about your psychology, the way your mind connects with English. Today, we're going to explore how your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs shape your ability to speak English fluently. Let's begin with a question. When you try to speak English, what happens inside your mind? Do you feel nervous? Do you start thinking in your first language first? Maybe you ask yourself, what's the right word? Or what if I make a mistake? These thoughts create a mental block, a wall between you and your words. And that wall is built by fear. The fear of judgment, the fear of being wrong, the fear of not sounding perfect. But here's the truth. Fluency grows only when you stop trying to be perfect and start trying to be real. Imagine a child learning to speak. They don't worry about grammar or vocabulary. They just express themselves with joy, with mistakes, with emotion. And over time, those mistakes become lessons. That's how fluency begins. You too can learn to speak English like that. Not through fear, but through freedom. Now let's do a small reflection exercise. Repeat after me. I don't need to be perfect. I just need to express myself. Say it again slowly. I don't need to be perfect. I just need to express myself. Feel the words. This sentence isn't just English practice. It's a mindset practice. Because your mindset, the way you think about English, is the foundation of fluency. Many learners believe they're not good at languages. They say things like, I can't speak fast, or my accent is bad, or I always forget words. But what if you changed the story you tell yourself? What if you started saying, I'm improving every day, or my English is getting better and better? That small change can transform your confidence. Your brain listens to what you tell it. If you speak to yourself with kindness, your confidence will grow. There's a story of a man named Ahmed from Egypt. He wanted to speak English fluently, but every time he tried, his tongue froze. He thought people would laugh at his accent. For years, he avoided conversations. One day, he met a traveler who spoke English with a very strong Spanish accent. But that traveler spoke with so much confidence and energy that everyone loved listening to him. Ahmed realized something powerful. It wasn't the accent that mattered. It was the attitude. From that day on, he started speaking English proudly, even with mistakes. In 6 months, his fluency improved more than in the previous 5 years. This is the psychology of fluency. Confidence before perfection. You don't become confident after you're fluent. You become fluent because you're confident. Think about it like this. Fluency is not a destination. It's a state of flow. When you speak without fear, without stopping yourself, your brain begins to trust English as a natural language. Now let's practice together. I'll say a phrase. You can repeat it aloud with energy and emotion. Ready? I'm confident when I speak English. Say it again. I'm confident when I speak English. One more time. Louder. I'm confident when I speak English. Every time you repeat these affirmations, you are rewiring your brain. You're teaching it that English is not a threat, but a tool of expression. Sometimes learners say, but my grammar is not good. That's okay. Grammar helps you structure your ideas, but fluency helps you share your ideas. People remember how you make them feel, not how perfectly you follow grammar rules. If you speak with honesty, warmth, and clarity, people will understand you, even if your grammar isn't perfect. Think of how babies learn their first language. They listen for months, and then they start speaking with broken sentences. No one corrects them harshly. Instead, parents celebrate every word. That celebration creates confidence. The same principle works for you as an adult learner. Celebrate small wins. Did you speak English for 5 minutes today? Celebrate it. Did you learn 3 new words? Celebrate it. Progress grows when you appreciate it. Now let's talk about your internal voice, the voice that speaks inside your head. When you listen to English, do you also hear your first language translating every word? That's normal, but it slows you down. Your goal is to train your brain to think directly in English. You can start small. For example, when you wake up, say to yourself in English, "It's a beautiful morning." When you make tea or coffee, I'm making tea. When you walk outside, say the weather feels nice today. These small habits create big changes. Your brain begins to recognize English as part of daily life, not just a subject to study. Let's do a short practice together. Repeat after me. I can think in English. I can express my ideas in English. English is part of my daily life. These simple sentences help build a fluent mindset. Now let's explore another psychological key: emotion. Do you remember songs or movie lines easily? That's because emotions connect with memory. When you learn English through things that move you, a song you love, a speech that inspires you, a story that touches your heart, your brain remembers faster. So don't just study English, feel it. Watch a short video that makes you smile, read a story that gives you hope, or listen to a podcast that motivates you. Connect English to emotion, and fluency will follow naturally. Let me tell you another story. Maria from Brazil was an English teacher, but she still struggled to speak fluently. She knew grammar very well, but when speaking, her mind froze. One day, she started watching motivational speeches in English every morning. She repeated the lines aloud, copying the speaker's tone and emotion. Slowly, she began to feel English instead of thinking about it. Within months, her speech became more natural, her rhythm improved, and she started enjoying conversations. She didn't just study English, she lived it. You see, the psychology of fluency is not just about language, it's about transformation. It's about changing the way you see yourself as a speaker. You're not a student forever. You are a communicator, a storyteller, a global citizen. So today, I want you to make a promise. Repeat this after me. From today, I will speak English with confidence. I will not be afraid of mistakes. I will enjoy learning. I will grow. Yes, that's it. This is how you start your fluency journey. Not by waiting for the right moment, but by creating it. Now that you understand the importance of mindset in becoming fluent, let's go deeper into how your brain actually learns to speak a new language. You see, your brain is like a muscle. The more you use it in English, the stronger it becomes. But here's something fascinating. Your brain doesn't grow through studying alone. It grows through use. That means the more you use English in real situations, the faster your fluency develops. Let's compare two learners. One spends hours studying grammar books, writing notes, and memorizing vocabulary lists. The other spends the same hours talking to friends, watching English shows, and describing daily life out loud. Who do you think becomes fluent faster? Yes, the second one. Why? Because the brain learns through repetition, emotion, and interaction. When you use English in context, your brain connects words with real-life meaning. So, the psychology of fluency begins with understanding how to train your mind like an athlete trains their body. When you speak English, you're exercising your mental muscles: pronunciation, rhythm, listening, memory, and confidence. At first it feels difficult, but if you keep practicing, it becomes effortless. Think about riding a bicycle. The first time you fall, the second time you wobble, but soon your body remembers the balance. It's the same with English. You just need consistent practice until your brain says, "Ah, I know this feeling." Here's a small activity for you. Throughout the day, talk to yourself in English. Describe what you're doing. For example, I'm opening the window. I'm checking my phone. I'm cooking dinner. At first, it might feel strange, but remember, fluency doesn't come from silence. It comes from speaking. Every time you use English, even alone, you are programming your brain to respond naturally. Now let's discuss one of the biggest fluency killers: overthinking. When learners try to speak, they often think too much about every word. Their brain tries to translate, to correct, to plan, all at the same time. But the human brain can't do that while speaking naturally. So what happens? You freeze. The words stop. The mind goes blank. To overcome this, you need to switch from thinking mode to speaking mode. When you're in speaking mode, you let go of control. You trust your instincts. You focus on the message, not the mistakes. Try this. Instead of thinking, "What's the right word?" ask yourself, "How can I express my idea simply?" Even if your words aren't perfect, communication happens. And that's what real fluency is about: being understood. Here's an example. Imagine you forget the word refrigerator. You can still say, "the machine that keeps food cold." See? You communicated your idea clearly. That's fluency in action: creative, flexible, confident. Now let's talk about something interesting: identity. Many learners separate their English-speaking self from their real self. They say things like, "When I speak English, I feel like a different person." Have you ever felt that way? That's because every language has its own rhythm, tone, and emotional style. But here's the good news: you can merge those two selves into one. There's another key part of fluency that's often forgotten: emotion control. When you feel nervous, your brain's performance drops. Scientists call this the fight or flight response. When you're scared, your body prepares to protect you, not to communicate. That's why words disappear when you're anxious. But don't worry, you can train your brain to stay calm. Before you speak English, try this simple technique. Take a deep breath. Inhale slowly through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold it for 2. Then exhale slowly for 4 seconds. This helps your brain relax. It tells your body it's safe to speak. When you're calm, your memory works better and your words come naturally. Now let's talk about one of the most powerful learning tools: listening with awareness. When you listen actively, your brain starts to notice rhythm, tone, and natural expressions. Don't just listen to words. Listen to music and speech. For example, native speakers often connect words: gonna for, going to, wanna for, want to. When you notice these patterns, you begin to understand real-life English, not just textbook English. Try shadowing practice. That means listening to a short sentence and repeating it immediately, trying to copy the speaker's rhythm and tone. It's like singing along to a song. You don't have to understand every word. Just feel the sound. This exercise connects your ear and your mouth, helping your pronunciation and fluency grow together. Let's try it now. Repeat after me. I'm learning to speak English naturally. Again, I'm learning to speak English naturally. Now, one more time with emotion. I'm learning to speak English naturally. Excellent. Each repetition builds confidence. Let's talk about mistakes. In the psychology of fluency, mistakes are not signs of failure. They are signs of growth. Every fluent speaker you admire made thousands of mistakes. The difference is, they didn't stop. They used mistakes as feedback. When you make an error, your brain says, "Okay, let's fix that next time." That's how learning happens. There's a story of May, a student from China. She loved English but was terrified of speaking. In her first speaking class, she made 20 mistakes in just 5 minutes. She felt embarrassed and wanted to quit, but her teacher said something that changed her life. Every mistake is a seed of fluency. Plant it and it will grow. So she kept practicing. A year later, she won a speech contest in English. That's the mindset you need. Repeat after me. My mistakes help me grow. I'm not afraid of errors. I'm learning. Another psychological trick to boost fluency is visualization. Close your eyes and imagine yourself speaking English confidently, in a meeting, on a trip with friends. See yourself smiling, speaking clearly, and enjoying the moment. Visualization is powerful because your brain doesn't fully know the difference between imagination and reality. If you imagine success repeatedly, your mind starts to believe it's possible. And when your mind believes it, your actions follow. You can try this every night before sleeping. Imagine a short conversation in English. Hear your voice in your mind. Feel the flow. Smile. This small routine can dramatically increase your speaking confidence over time. Let's finish this section with a small affirmation practice. Repeat each line slowly after me. I enjoy speaking English. English is part of my life. I'm improving every day. I'm becoming more fluent and confident. Speaking English feels natural to me. Beautiful. Each time you say these sentences, you're programming your subconscious mind to believe in your fluency. So remember, fluency isn't just about words. It's about mindset, emotion, confidence, and consistent action. Speak, listen, feel, and believe. Your psychology is the key that unlocks your fluency. Now that you've learned how your mind shapes fluency, let's explore another powerful truth. Fluency grows through connection. English is not just a subject to study. It's a bridge between people. When you use English to connect, to share ideas, and to express your personality, your fluency begins to shine naturally. Many learners study English in isolation, alone with books, apps, or grammar notes. While that helps, true fluency blossoms in interaction. Think of English as a living thing. It breathes when you speak, it grows when you share. So your goal is not just to learn English, but to live it. Speak it with friends, think in it, dream in it, and feel it in real conversations. Let's imagine two learners again. One spends hours memorizing words silently. The other uses those words in conversation, even if imperfectly. Who will remember better? The one who speaks. That's because memory is connected to emotion and action. When you use English in a real moment, asking for coffee, giving your opinion, laughing at a joke, your brain stores that experience deeply. Here's a small exercise you can try today. Choose one topic, maybe your favorite movie, your job, or your dream city, and talk about it aloud for 2 minutes. Don't worry about mistakes. Just keep speaking. If you forget a word, describe it another way. If you pause, smile, and continue. This activity builds your speaking stamina. Just like a runner trains to run longer distances, you're training your brain to stay in English for longer periods without switching back to your first language. Now let's talk about motivation. Have you ever started learning something full of excitement but lost energy after a few weeks? That happens because motivation fades if you focus only on results. Real motivation comes from progress, not perfection. So instead of asking, "Am I fluent yet?" ask, "Did I improve today?" Celebrate small progress. One new phrase, one confident sentence, one moment of understanding. These small victories are like steps up a mountain. Each one counts. There's a story of a student named Javier from Mexico. He wanted to speak English like an American actor. He practiced every night, but after a few weeks he felt frustrated. He compared himself to others and almost gave up. One day he watched an interview where the actor said, "I practiced every day for years before I felt confident." Javier realized that fluency isn't magic, it's a journey. He began enjoying the process instead of chasing perfection. Over time, his speech became natural. The secret wasn't talent, it was consistency mixed with patience. Let's pause for a second. Take a deep breath. Now repeat after me. I am patient with myself. I am improving every day. My English journey is beautiful. Feel those words. They remind you that growth takes time. Another important aspect of the psychology of fluency is curiosity. Curious learners become fluent faster because they want to understand. They explore new topics, ask questions, and listen carefully. Curiosity makes learning exciting. When you're curious, your brain releases dopamine, a chemical that boosts memory and motivation. So the next time you listen to an English video or read a story, don't just memorize the words. Ask yourself, why did the speaker choose that word? Or what emotion is behind that sentence? Curiosity turns learning into adventure. Now let's talk about self-image. The way you see yourself as an English speaker affects everything. If you think, "I'm bad at speaking," your brain will find evidence to prove it. But if you believe, "I'm a confident English communicator," your brain will support that belief. You become what you believe you are. So it's time to build a strong English identity. Try this. Imagine your best English self. How does that version of you speak? How do you stand? How do you smile? Picture it clearly. Then step into that version every time you speak. Pretend you already are that confident speaker. With practice, that version becomes real. Let's repeat some confidence-building affirmations together. I am a confident English speaker. I express my thoughts easily. I enjoy every English conversation. I learn from mistakes and move forward. I am proud of my progress. Good. Feel the energy behind those words. These affirmations are not just sentences. They are mental training. Each time you say them, your subconscious mind absorbs a new belief. Now let's discuss another emotional factor: comparison. Many learners lose motivation because they compare themselves to others. You might hear someone speak faster or with a better accent and think, "I'll never be that good." But comparison steals your joy and your focus. You don't need to be like anyone else. You just need to be better than you were yesterday. Your English journey is unique. You may learn slowly but deeply. You may have an accent but with personality. You may pause but still communicate beautifully. Remember, every speaker started from zero. Let me tell you about Fatima from Pakistan. She used to watch English interviews and feel jealous of fluent speakers. One day, she realized she was comparing her beginning to someone else's middle. That thought changed everything. She started tracking her own growth instead, recording her voice every month. After 6 months, she listened to her first recording again and smiled. She could hear the difference. That's the moment she truly felt fluent. Not because she was perfect, but because she could see her progress. So here's a small challenge for you. Record yourself speaking English once a week. It can be about anything. Your day, your goals, your favorite book. Don't delete it, even if it sounds strange. After a few months, listen again. You'll be amazed by how much you've improved. This is a powerful psychological tool. It turns invisible progress into visible proof. Another key to fluency psychology is enjoyment. If learning feels heavy, your brain resists it. But when it feels fun, your brain opens up. Learn English through things you love. Music, stories, travel videos, cooking tutorials. Have you ever noticed how some people can talk for hours in English, while others freeze after a few sentences? The difference often isn't vocabulary or grammar. It's flow. Flow is that magical state when you speak without thinking too much, when words come naturally, and when you feel connected to what you're saying. It's the sweet spot where learning and living meet. And the good news is, you can train yourself to reach that state. Flow begins when you stop worrying about mistakes and start enjoying the moment. Think about when you speak your first language. You don't pause to plan every sentence, you just speak. That's because your brain feels safe and relaxed. To reach the same comfort in English, you need to create emotional safety. Tell yourself it's okay to be imperfect. I'm just communicating. The more relaxed you feel, the faster your brain connects ideas and words. Let's do a small practice to feel the rhythm of flow. Say this sentence aloud slowly. I let my words flow easily. Now say it faster. I let my words flow easily. One more time with confidence. I let my words flow easily. Excellent. When you repeat sentences like this, you're not just learning words. You're training your mouth and brain to move in sync. That's how fluency grows. Now let's talk about another important part of psychology. Focus. In our world today, it's easy to get distracted. Phones, notifications, social media. They pull your attention in many directions. But fluency requires focus. Your brain needs time to absorb English deeply. When you study or practice, give English your full attention. Just 20 focused minutes a day are more powerful than 2 hours of distracted learning. Here's a technique called the English bubble. For 15-20 minutes a day, surround yourself only with English. Turn your phone to English. Listen to English audio. Speak your thoughts out loud. Don't allow any translation. Inside your English bubble, you are living in the language. Over time, your brain will adapt, and thinking in English will become easier and more natural. There's a story of Hana from Korea. She struggled with thinking in English, always translating from Korean first. So she created her own English bubble. Every morning during breakfast, she listened to English podcasts. She spoke to herself in English, describing her plans for the day. At night, she wrote her diary in English. After 3 months, she realized something amazing. She had started dreaming in English. That's the power of immersion. You can do the same. Start small, maybe 5 minutes a day. Say what you're doing, like, I'm brushing my teeth. I'm getting ready. I'm checking my messages. Slowly increase your time. The goal is to make English part of your natural environment. When your brain feels surrounded by English, it stops fighting it and starts flowing with it. Now let's explore the connection between emotion and memory. Do you remember the last time you laughed at a funny English video? Or cried at an emotional story? You probably remember the words from that moment easily. That's because emotions lock memories in your brain. If you study English with no feeling, it slips away. But if you connect English to joy, curiosity, and emotion, it stays. So when you study, don't just read or listen passively. Feel something. If you watch a movie, imagine you're part of it. If you read a quote, repeat it with passion. If you learn a new word, use it in a funny sentence that makes you smile. The stronger your emotion, the stronger your memory. Here's a fun challenge for you. Create emotional flashcards. On one side, write a word. On the other side, draw or write something emotional that helps you remember it. A picture, a joke, or a memory. For example, for the word excited, write about the last time you felt truly happy about something. This method connects language to life, and that's what real fluency is, living language. Now let's talk about your inner voice. This voice is always speaking inside your mind. Sometimes it helps you, but sometimes it criticizes you. When you speak English, your inner voice might say, "You're too slow," or "You sound strange." That voice can be your biggest barrier, but you can change it. You can train your inner voice to be your coach, not your critic. Every time you speak English, imagine your inner voice cheering for you. Great job. You're improving. You did it. This simple shift changes how your brain reacts. Instead of fear, you feel encouragement. Instead of anxiety, you feel energy. Remember, your brain believes the story you tell it, so make that story positive. Now let's practice changing the voice in your head. Say this aloud. I'm proud of myself for speaking English. I'm learning and improving. I speak English with courage. I'm not afraid of mistakes. These aren't just words, they're rewiring your brain. Another powerful technique to grow fluency is called mirroring. It's similar to shadowing, but with more emotion. Find a short video of a native or fluent speaker, maybe an interview, a movie scene, or a motivational talk. Watch it carefully. Notice the tone, body language, and emotion. Then play it again and copy everything. The expressions, rhythm, even the pauses. You become the speaker for a moment. This trains not just your mouth, but your entire communication style. When you mirror speakers, you absorb more than words. You absorb confidence. You start to feel what fluent speech feels like. Over time, you'll develop your own natural rhythm. You won't sound robotic or memorized. You'll sound alive. Let me tell you about Noor, a student from Malaysia. She used to struggle with pronunciation. She watched her favorite English YouTuber every night and began mirroring her speech. She didn't copy every word. She copied the emotion. After a few weeks, her pronunciation improved, but something even more powerful happened. She started enjoying speaking. Her confidence grew, and that changed everything. You see, emotion and enjoyment are not just nice extras. They are the foundation of learning. When you enjoy what you do, your brain learns 10 times faster. So if you ever feel bored or frustrated, change your method. Watch something you love. Talk about a topic you care about. Sing along to your favorite English song. The key is to make English feel alive, not mechanical. Now let's address something that affects many learners: self-doubt. Sometimes you may think, "I've been learning for years, but I'm still not fluent." That thought can feel heavy. But remember, progress is not always visible. You might not see changes every day, but inside your brain, connections are growing. Each word, each sentence, each effort counts. Fluency is like water filling a cup. You don't notice the rise drop by drop, but one day, it overflows. That's when you realize, I can do this, so keep filling your cup. Keep practicing, keep believing, keep flowing. Let's end this section with a moment of reflection. Close your eyes for a second and imagine your future self, speaking English confidently, laughing with people from around the world, expressing your thoughts freely. Feel that pride, feel that joy. That future is not far away. It's already being built, and with every word you speak today, repeat this after me. My words flow easily. I am confident and calm when I speak. I love expressing myself in English. I'm becoming more fluent every day. Beautiful. You're not just learning English. You're transforming your mindset, your confidence, and your future. By now, you understand that fluency begins in your mind, through focus, emotion, and self-belief. But to speak English naturally, you also need something deeper: connection between thought and speech. Many learners think in one language and speak in another, which creates a delay. The key to fluency is to think directly in English. How do you do that? Start with simple thoughts. Don't try to translate. For example, instead of thinking "Mujhe pani chahiye" and then turning it into "I want water," train your brain to think "I want water" immediately. At first it takes effort, but over time it becomes automatic. It's like rewiring your brain. New pathways form with each repetition. You can build this habit with a daily exercise called English Moments. Throughout your day, pause and describe what you're doing or feeling in English. I'm feeling sleepy. I'm walking to the shop. I'm excited for tomorrow. These micro moments build your fluency muscles quietly but powerfully. Let me share a story about this. A student named Rehan from Pakistan used to struggle with thinking in English. He said, "Whenever I try to speak, I feel like my brain is running in Urdu and my mouth is trying to catch up in English." So he started using English moments. Every morning he talked to himself in English for 5 minutes while getting ready. Within a month, he noticed something amazing. His responses in conversations became faster. His thoughts and words began moving at the same speed. That's the power of daily connection. Let's try a quick practice right now. I'll say a phrase and you repeat it aloud. I can think in English. My thoughts flow naturally. I speak easily and confidently. I trust my words. Good. When you speak these sentences, you're training both your mouth and your mind. Now let's explore the idea of automaticity. This means doing something without thinking too much, like driving, typing, or playing a musical instrument. Fluency is also about automaticity. The more you practice using English in real-life situations, the less you'll need to think about it. Your words will start flowing automatically. How can you build automaticity? Through small daily repetition. For example, when you learn a new word, don't just memorize it once. Use it 5 or 6 times that day. Create sentences with it. Say it aloud in different ways. There's a story of Luisa from Italy. She used to speak English very slowly, almost word by word. Then one day, her teacher suggested she practice English through songs. Every morning, she sang along to English pop songs for 10 minutes. After 2 months, her speaking speed improved dramatically. Her brain began catching the rhythm automatically. When she spoke, her sentences flowed like music. You see, rhythm creates flow. Flow builds confidence, and confidence gives birth to natural fluency. Another important psychological factor is environment. Your environment shapes your habits, and your habits shape your language. If English feels distant, something you only use in class or study time, your progress will be slow. But if English becomes part of your environment, progress becomes automatic. You can change your environment easily. Switch your phone, laptop, or social media to English. Follow English-speaking creators who inspire you. Label objects around your home in English. Mirror, door, bottle, chair. Each time you see those words, your brain becomes more familiar with them. Let's take an example. Imagine you're brushing your teeth. Instead of doing it silently, you say, "I'm brushing my teeth." While cooking, "Sylvie, I'm adding salt." While walking, say, "The air feels nice today." These tiny sentences create a habit loop. Soon you'll find yourself thinking in English automatically. Now let's discuss something that often surprises learners. Your body language affects your fluency too. When you sit up straight, take a deep breath and smile, your brain receives a message. I'm confident. This helps your voice sound stronger and clearer. Try this experiment. Say, "I can do it," while slouching. Then stand tall and say it again with energy. Feel the difference. Your body supports your mind. So when you speak English, use your whole body. Gestures, expressions, eye contact. It makes your communication more alive and fluent. Here's a story about Emma, a student from Poland. She always spoke English softly and nervously. Her teacher told her to practice speaking while standing in front of a mirror, smiling, and using hand gestures. At first, she felt silly, but soon she noticed that when her body expressed confidence, her voice followed. Her sentences became smoother. She realized that fluency isn't only about words, it's about presence. Let's practice together. Stand tall, take a deep breath, and repeat after me. I speak with confidence. My body supports my words. I feel calm and natural when I speak. English feels easy for me. Excellent. That's how you align body and mind for fluent communication. Another key to English fluency psychology is feedback. Many learners avoid speaking because they fear correction. But feedback isn't an attack, it's a mirror. It helps you see what to improve. The more you welcome feedback, the faster you grow. You can practice with a friend, a teacher, or even record your own voice. When you listen to yourself, you'll notice small areas to improve. Pronunciation, pauses, or tone. Don't criticize yourself. Just adjust gently. Every correction is a gift of growth. Finally, let's talk about persistence. Fluency doesn't happen in one big leap. It happens through small, consistent steps. There will be days when you feel tired or unmotivated. That's normal. What matters is that you keep showing up. Even 5 minutes a day keeps your English alive. Think of it like watering a plant. A little water every day keeps it growing. There's a quote that says, "It always seems impossible until it's done." The same is true for fluency. One day you'll suddenly realize you're speaking English naturally, without translation, without fear, without effort. That day will come if you keep going. Let's end this section with a short affirmation session. Repeat after me slowly and clearly. I think in English easily. My words come naturally. I enjoy every moment of learning. I'm patient, confident, and consistent. I am becoming a fluent English speaker. Beautiful work. Remember, the psychology of fluency is a daily practice. It's about connection, rhythm, environment, and confidence, all working together to help you speak freely and joyfully. When we talk about fluency, many learners think it's all about speed, speaking fast without pausing. But true fluency isn't about how fast you speak. It's about how smoothly you speak. There's a big difference. You can speak slowly and still sound fluent if your words flow naturally, your sentences connect logically, and your voice carries confidence. Let's imagine two people. One speaks very fast but keeps making mistakes, hesitating or repeating words. The other speaks calmly, with clear pronunciation and a natural rhythm. Who sounds more fluent? The second one. Fluency is about ease and clarity, not speed. So if you ever feel pressure to talk quickly, relax. Focus on flow, not speed. Now let's talk about mental flexibility. This is the ability to express your thoughts even when you don't remember the perfect word. Many learners stop speaking when they forget a word. They pause, panic, and lose confidence. But fluent speakers, even native speakers, sometimes forget words too. The secret is to paraphrase. For example, if you forget the word chef, you can say, "a person who cooks in a restaurant." If you forget comfortable, you can say, "it feels nice" or "it feels good." When you learn to explain your meaning in different ways, you train your brain to stay flexible. This flexibility is one of the most powerful signs of fluency. Try this. I'll say a word and you'll describe it in English without using the word itself. Ready? Describe umbrella. Describe library. Describe mountain. Describe friendship. Good. Even if your description wasn't perfect, you were practicing the real skill of fluency, communicating with what you have. Let's meet another learner, Maria from Brazil. She used to freeze every time she forgot a word. One day her teacher told her, "Maria, don't stop, just describe it." So she started doing that. If she couldn't remember air conditioner, she said, "the machine that makes the room cold." Her listeners still understood her. That experience changed her mindset. She realized that fluency isn't perfection, it's communication. The next concept is psychological momentum. When you speak English, the more you continue, the easier it becomes. But when you stop too often to correct yourself, you break your flow. Imagine you're driving smoothly and suddenly you hit the brakes every few seconds. That's what self-correction does. Instead, keep speaking. Even if you make mistakes, keep the momentum. You can fix grammar later. Many learners get stuck because they think too much about grammar while speaking. Grammar is important, but fluency is about communication. You can always refine your grammar after your speech. The goal is to keep the conversation moving. Let's try an exercise. I'll give you a situation, and you speak for 1 minute, without stopping, without worrying about mistakes. Ready? You're talking about your favorite movie. Describe it. Go. Now talk about your favorite place to relax. Next, talk about something you want to learn this year. This activity helps you build fluency momentum. Every time you keep speaking through hesitation, you become more natural and confident. Now let's talk about emotional connection. Your emotions affect how your brain processes language. When you feel excited, curious, or happy, your memory becomes sharper. When you feel anxious or bored, your learning slows down. That's why it's important to connect emotionally with English. Make it personal, make it meaningful. If English feels like a boring school subject, your mind resists it. But if English becomes your way to express feelings, dreams, or stories, your brain opens up. You can make English emotional by connecting it to your life. Talk about your childhood, your favorite memories, your hopes, your fears, in English. The more emotional energy you bring, the more naturally your words flow. Here's an example. A student named Faisal from Saudi Arabia loved football, but he struggled with English lessons. His teacher told him, talk about football in English. So he started watching English football commentary, reading news in English, and writing short notes like, I think my team played well today. Within a few months, his English improved dramatically. Why? Because he was emotionally connected to what he was saying. Now repeat after me. I connect my feelings with English. I express myself honestly. My emotions make my English powerful, beautiful. That's how language becomes part of who you are. Another big part of psychology is visualization. Many top athletes use visualization before big performances. They imagine themselves winning, feeling confident, and performing perfectly. You can use the same technique for speaking English. Before an English conversation, close your eyes for a few seconds and imagine yourself speaking fluently. See yourself smiling, using natural gestures, and enjoying the moment. Your brain doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. It practices both the same way. If you visualize success, you prepare your mind for confidence. Try it now. Close your eyes and imagine yourself speaking with a native speaker easily. You're relaxed, you understand everything, and your words come naturally. You're smiling, and the person enjoys talking to you. Feel that moment. That's your future reality if you keep practicing. Let's move on to another psychological skill: curiosity. Fluent speakers are curious about words, expressions, and accents. They listen carefully. They observe how people use tone and rhythm. Curiosity turns learning into discovery. When you're curious, you don't feel pressure. You feel excitement. Every journey to fluency reaches a point where learners feel stuck. Maybe you've experienced it too. You study, you practice, but it feels like nothing is improving. This is called the plateau stage. It's a normal part of language learning. Every learner experiences it, even advanced ones. The good news is that the plateau is not the end. It's just a signal that your brain is ready for the next level of growth. Let's understand what happens in your mind during this stage. When you first start learning, progress is fast because everything is new. You learn new words, new rules, and new expressions quickly. But as you become more advanced, improvement slows down because your brain is focusing on details, pronunciation, rhythm, and expression. It's like climbing a mountain. At first, the climb feels steep, then it flattens out for a while before the next big rise. That flat stage is your plateau. So, how do you move through it? The answer is change. Change your methods, your environment, and your mindset. When your brain gets too comfortable, it stops growing. So give it a little challenge. If you usually watch movies, try podcasts. If you usually read news articles, try short stories. If you practice alone, join a speaking club. The change reignites your curiosity and wakes up your learning energy. Let's take the story of Nadia from Egypt. She reached an intermediate level and felt stuck for months. She practiced every day but didn't see progress. Then she decided to change her routine. She started shadowing English news videos, listening and repeating exactly what the speaker said. Within a few weeks, she noticed improvement in her pronunciation and confidence. The plateau was gone. Sometimes you just need a new spark to keep moving. Here's a quick activity you can try. Think about your English routine right now. What do you usually do? Listening, reading, or speaking? Now choose one area you rarely practice and add it to your week. If you rarely speak, find a language partner. If you rarely write, start journaling in English. The moment you add something new, your brain starts growing again. Now let's talk about the fear of making mistakes. It's one of the biggest barriers to fluency. Many learners think they must speak perfectly before speaking at all. But that's impossible. Mistakes are part of communication, not proof of failure. Think about how children learn their first language. They make hundreds of mistakes every day, but they don't stop talking. They learn by speaking, not by waiting for perfection. Fluent speakers make mistakes too, but they keep talking. They correct themselves naturally with confidence. So from now on, when you make a mistake, smile and keep going. You can even say, "Oh, I meant to say," and continue. That's what confident speakers do. Repeat after me. Mistakes help me grow. I'm not afraid to speak. I learn through every experience. Great. That's the attitude that builds fluency faster than any textbook. Another part of fluency psychology is resilience. Resilience means your ability to recover after a challenge. Maybe you forget a word during conversation, or someone doesn't understand you, or you compare yourself to others and feel discouraged. Resilience is what helps you stand up again and keep going. Every fluent speaker you admire today once went through the same moments of doubt. The only difference is, they didn't stop. Let me share the story of Carlos from Mexico. When he first moved to Canada, he struggled to understand people at work. He often stayed quiet because he felt embarrassed. But one day, his boss told him, "Carlos, your ideas are great. Don't worry about your English. We understand you." That sentence changed everything. Carlos realized communication matters more than perfect grammar. He started speaking more often, and his fluency improved naturally. So, if you ever feel shy, remind yourself, people care more about your message than your mistakes. Your words have value, even if they're not perfect. Now let's discuss another concept, the learning mindset. Many learners separate study time and real life, but fluency happens when you combine both. Every situation is an opportunity to practice. Ordering food, texting a friend, writing an email, all of these are language moments. When you live in English, learning never stops. Here's a challenge. For the next 3 days, think of English as your world, not just your subject. Narrate your actions, talk to yourself in English, and express your thoughts throughout the day. If you make this a habit, your fluency will grow naturally. Speaking of habits, let's explore micro-habits, small, consistent actions that make a huge difference over time. You don't need hours every day to become fluent. You just need 5 focused minutes used wisely. For example, repeat 1 short video daily, practice 1 conversation topic, or write 1 English sentence about your day. Tiny habits grow into big results when done consistently. Here's how you can start. Every morning, speak 1 minute of English aloud. Every afternoon, listen to 1 English clip and repeat it. Every evening, write 1 short paragraph about your day. That's only a few minutes, but it keeps your brain active daily. There's a quote that says, "Small steps every day lead to big changes." That's exactly how fluency works. Now let's move to something powerful, self-image. How you see yourself affects how you speak. If you see yourself as a learner, you'll always feel like you're not ready. But if you see yourself as an English speaker, your confidence grows instantly. Even if your English isn't perfect yet, act like someone who already speaks fluently. When you believe it, your behavior starts matching that belief. Try this little imagination exercise. Close your eyes for a few seconds and imagine your future self. Confident, fluent, speaking English naturally. How does that version of you sound? How do they move, smile, express themselves? That's who you're becoming. You're not waiting to be fluent. You're already growing into that person right now. Let's practice a few affirmations to shape your self-image. Repeat after me. I am an English speaker. I sound confident and clear. I communicate easily in English. I'm proud of how much I've grown. Amazing. When you say these sentences daily, you send a message to your subconscious mind, and your brain begins to act accordingly. Let's talk about inspiration. Motivation gets you started, but inspiration keeps you going. Motivation comes from outside, like a teacher or a video. Inspiration comes from inside, from your purpose. Ask yourself, why do I want to be fluent? Maybe it's to connect with people, travel, study abroad, or express yourself freely. Whatever your reason is, keep it close. Write it down. Read it when you feel tired. Your why is your strongest source of energy. Here's a story of Mina from Thailand. She loved art and wanted to share her drawings with the world, but most online communities used English. Her dream of connection became her inspiration. She started learning English not for grades, but for her passion. That purpose gave her energy to practice every day, and within a year she was confidently sharing her art with an international audience. Your why can do the same for you. Finally, let's discuss celebration. Many learners forget to celebrate their progress. They only notice what's missing, not how far they've come. But celebration is important. When you celebrate small wins, finishing a book, understanding a podcast, or having a short conversation, you train your brain to enjoy learning. Joy creates motivation. So every week, write down 3 things you've improved in English. It could be pronunciation, vocabulary, or confidence. Celebrate them. Let's practice this right now. Say out loud 3 things you're proud of in your English journey. Go on. Say them now. Feel that pride. You've earned it. You are not just learning English. You are transforming your mindset, your confidence, and your identity. That's the psychology of fluency. Believing in progress, embracing mistakes, and celebrating growth. Repeat after me. I celebrate every step forward. I'm confident in my journey. I am becoming fluent every single day. Excellent. Keep this energy alive, and you'll keep growing faster than ever. When we talk about the psychology of fluency, there's one truth that always shines through. Your mind learns best when it feels safe, inspired, and curious. That's why today we're going to explore how to create a mental space where English can grow naturally, joyfully, and confidently. Let's start with mental relaxation. When your mind is tense, your brain's language center becomes less active. That's why many learners say, I can speak English at home, but I freeze during real conversations. It's not because they forgot the words. It's because stress blocks fluency. Anxiety tells your brain, you're in danger, so your energy goes to fear instead of language. The solution is relaxation and presence. Before you speak, take a deep breath. Smile. Remind yourself, this is just a conversation, not an exam. Your goal is not perfection. Your goal is connection. When you relax, your words come more easily. You can even practice this relaxation habit daily. Sit quietly, breathe slowly, and say to yourself, I feel calm. I speak freely. The calmer your mind, the smoother your English becomes. Let me tell you a story about Adam, a student from Jordan. Every time he had to speak in front of others, his heart would race and his hands would shake. His teacher noticed this and said, Adam, before you speak, close your eyes and breathe deeply 3 times. He practiced this before every class. After 2 weeks, his confidence improved. His sentences became smoother. His fear began to fade. That's the magic of relaxation. Now let's talk about focus. In our busy world, attention is divided between phones, messages, and multitasking. But language growth requires focused attention. When you listen, really listen. When you speak, be fully present. Fluency is not just about words. It's about awareness. When you give full attention to what you're hearing or saying, your brain forms stronger memory connections. Here's a simple focus exercise. Next time you listen to an English video, don't just play it in the background. Watch closely. Notice the speaker's expressions, rhythm, and tone. Repeat small parts out loud. Engage with the words, not just hear them. That's active learning. Now let's explore the emotional memory effect. You remember things better when they're connected to emotions. Think of a song that reminds you of a happy time. You still remember the lyrics, right? That's because emotion makes memory strong. You can use this in your English learning. Connect new words with feelings or stories. For example, if you learn the word brave, think of a time you were brave. Say, I was brave when I spoke English with confidence. The emotional link helps the word stay in your mind forever. Let's try a few together. Grateful, I'm grateful for my progress. Proud, I'm proud of learning English. Excited, I'm excited to keep growing. You see? These emotions help your brain remember faster and longer. Another concept is imagination learning. When you use imagination, you make English personal and creative. You can practice imaginary conversations, describe imagined situations, or tell made-up stories, all in English. This activates your creative brain, which helps language flow naturally. Here's a fun exercise. Imagine you're on a trip to London. You walk into a cafe. The barista smiles and asks, "What would you like to order?" You smile back and say, "I'd love a cup of cappuccino, please." You sit near the window watching people pass by, and you describe what you see in English. This kind of mental practice is powerful because your brain treats imagination as real experience. The more you imagine speaking, the easier it becomes to speak in real life. Let's now move to listening psychology. Many learners focus so much on speaking that they forget listening is the foundation. Listening teaches rhythm, tone, and structure. But passive listening, just playing audio in the background, and doesn't help much. You need active listening. That means paying attention, repeating aloud, and even mimicking pronunciation. For example, choose a short video or podcast. Listen once for understanding. Then listen again and pause after each sentence to repeat it. Try to copy not only the words but also the melody. This technique, called shadowing, trains your mind and mouth to move together. Over time, it becomes effortless. Here's an inspiring story. Hana from South Korea practiced shadowing daily for 3 months. She followed her favorite news anchor, repeating exactly how they spoke. At first it was hard, but soon she noticed her accent improving and her speech becoming smoother. Today, people often think she's a native speaker. Her secret wasn't grammar. It was rhythm, imitation, and consistent listening. Now let's talk about identity confidence. Many learners hide their accent because they feel shy or afraid of sounding different. But your accent is part of your story. It shows your background, your culture, your effort. You don't need to sound like someone else to be fluent. You just need to be clear and confident. English belongs to everyone, not just native speakers. Your voice has value. Repeat after me. My accent is a part of my identity. I speak clearly and confidently. I'm proud of my voice. Beautiful. Remember, fluency is not about sounding American or British. It's about being understood and expressing yourself freely. Now let's explore energy psychology. Your energy affects how others perceive your fluency. When you speak with low energy, even perfect sentences sound flat. But when you speak with enthusiasm, people listen. Energy brings language to life. Try this. Record yourself saying the same sentence in 2 ways, once with low energy and once with excitement. You'll hear the difference. To sound fluent, raise your energy slightly when you speak. Smile, use your hands. Feel the meaning behind your words. That emotional energy will make your English sound alive and natural. Next, let's talk about mental repetition. Fluency is built through repeated exposure. But repetition doesn't mean boring drills. It means revisiting familiar ideas in new ways. For example, if you learn the phrase, "I'm looking forward to it," don't just memorize it once. Use it tomorrow when talking about a plan. Use it again in a journal entry. Use it next week with a friend. Each repetition makes it part of your active vocabulary. Here's a quick example. I'm looking forward to my vacation. I'm looking forward to learning more English. I'm looking forward to meeting new people. Now the phrase belongs to you. Another useful idea is emotional reflection. At the end of each day, take a few minutes to think about how you used English. Did you speak confidently? Did you hesitate? How did you feel? Reflecting like this helps you understand your emotions and patterns. When you become aware, you can improve faster. A student named Layla from Indonesia kept a language diary. Every night she wrote a few lines like, "Today I spoke to my teacher. I was nervous, but I felt better afterward." This small habit helped her notice progress and reduce anxiety. Over time, her self-awareness turned into confidence. Now let's talk about the psychology of flow. Have you ever done something you love so much that you lost track of time? That's flow, a state of full engagement and joy. You can reach this state in English practice too. Choose topics or activities that truly interest you. Books, shows, or discussions about what you love. When learning feels enjoyable, time disappears and growth accelerates. For example, if you love cooking, watch English recipes, read about ingredients, and talk about your favorite dishes. When you mix English with passion, your progress doubles because your brain associates language with pleasure, not pressure. To end this section, let's bring everything together with a few affirmations. Repeat slowly. I relax and speak freely. I focus and enjoy learning. My accent is beautiful and clear. I learn with energy and joy. I am in flow when I use English. Excellent. You're doing something extraordinary. You're training your brain to not only understand English, but to feel English. You're learning how to make it part of your emotions, energy, and everyday life. That's how fluency becomes natural, not forced but free. Fluency is not built in a single moment. It grows like a plant, through care, sunlight, patience, and the right environment. If you want your English to flourish, you must design a world that supports your growth. Let's begin by exploring what that means. Think of your surroundings right now. Do you hear English daily? Do you see it written around you? Do you engage with it emotionally? The more you surround yourself with English, the more your mind accepts it as natural. You can call this the immersion mindset. Immersion doesn't mean moving to another country. It means creating English spaces where you already are. Change your phone settings to English. Watch short clips daily. Read product labels. Listen to podcasts while walking. Write small notes in English. The idea is to live in the language instead of only studying it. Here's an example. Maria from Spain had never traveled abroad, but she transformed her environment into a full English zone. Her phone, music, YouTube, and even her grocery list, all in English. After 6 months, her fluency skyrocketed. She said, "I didn't move to London. I brought London to my room." That's immersion, a simple but powerful shift. Now let's talk about habit formation. Fluency isn't built by motivation alone. It's built by systems. Motivation gives you a spark, but habits keep the fire burning. Think of brushing your teeth. You do it daily without thinking. What if English practice felt the same? To build strong habits, start small and stay consistent. You don't need hours each day. You just need minutes done daily. For example, a 15-minute routine could include listening to one short story, repeating a few key phrases aloud, writing 2 sentences in your journal, that's it. Simple but powerful. Small steps done every day lead to big change. There's a famous quote, "You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems." So build your system. Make English practice part of your lifestyle, not a task you postpone. Let's explore habit triggers. Triggers are signals that remind you to act. For example, if you drink coffee every morning, that moment can become your English cue. Listen to a podcast as you sip your coffee. If you go for a walk in the evening, play English audio while walking. Link English to daily actions, and soon it will feel effortless. Now let's talk about accountability. Sometimes we start strong but lose consistency because no one is watching. Accountability keeps you responsible. It can come from a friend, a study partner, or even an online group. You can join English learning communities or create a small group chat with other learners. Share your goals and updates weekly. When others expect progress from you, your motivation increases naturally. Here's another idea. Record short English diary videos. Speak about your day for 1 minute and store them privately. Over time, when you look back, you'll see your fluency improving. This visible progress will motivate you even more. Now let's move to the growth mindset. Many learners secretly think, maybe I'll never be fluent. Take a deep breath. Think for a moment about where you started. Maybe you once felt nervous speaking English, unsure of your words, afraid of mistakes. But now you've learned something powerful. Fluency begins not in your tongue, but in your thoughts, your mindset, your emotions, and your habits. You've learned that psychology is the secret engine behind fluent speech. You've discovered how belief changes your voice, how repetition rewires your brain, and how small daily actions lead to lifelong transformation. You're no longer just studying English, you're living it. Think of every word you've spoken during this journey. Each one is like a brick, building the foundation of your confidence. Every time you repeated a phrase, smiled at your reflection, or listened with curiosity, you became stronger. You're no longer the same learner. You're becoming the speaker you once dreamed of being. Let's pause and celebrate that. Because learning English is not just about vocabulary lists or grammar charts. It's about courage. The courage to try, to fail, to learn, and to rise again. The courage to express your true thoughts in a new language. Every time you spoke when you felt shy. Every time you practiced when no one was watching. That was courage. And that courage is what creates fluency. Now, let's talk about identity. Many learners think, English is a language I'm learning. But the truth is, English becomes a part of who you are. It's not outside you anymore. It's inside you. When you think in English, dream in English, or express your feelings in English, it becomes part of your identity. And that's what true fluency means. Not speaking perfectly, but speaking as yourself. Repeat these affirmations with me now. I am not just learning English. I am becoming an English speaker. English is part of my daily life. I speak naturally, confidently, and with joy. My voice matters in any language. Beautiful. Those sentences aren't just words. They're your new mindset. Now, as you continue your journey, remember that fluency isn't the end. It's the beginning of something greater. It opens doors. It connects you to people, ideas, opportunities, and worlds you've never known before. Every new phrase you learn expands your universe. Imagine this for a moment. You're traveling to a new country, meeting someone new, or working in an international environment. You open your mouth to speak and the words flow naturally. You see their eyes light up with understanding. You laugh, you share, you connect. That's fluency. Not mechanical speech, but emotional communication. It's when your ideas move freely between hearts, not just between languages. Let me tell you one last story about a student named Haruka from Japan. She spent years studying English grammar and vocabulary, but she rarely spoke. She was afraid of making mistakes. One day during a workshop, I asked her to describe her favorite childhood memory. In English, she hesitated, then smiled shyly and began to speak. Her sentences weren't perfect, but her story was beautiful, filled with emotion and laughter. When she finished, everyone clapped. She realized something powerful. Communication is not about perfection. It's about connection. From that day, she started speaking more freely. Within months, she was expressing her thoughts with ease and grace. That's what I want for you too. To express, not impress. To connect, not correct. To feel joy, not fear. You've learned that fluency grows through practice, emotion, and persistence. You've learned how to build habits, design an English-rich environment, and use visualization to build confidence. You've learned that mistakes are not your enemies. They are your teachers. You've learned that fluency is emotional, physical, and mental harmony. And now you stand at the edge of a new chapter. From this moment on, English isn't just a subject. It's your second voice, so what should you do next? Keep practicing, but practice with love. Listen to stories that move you. Speak about your life, your dreams, your opinions. Don't chase perfection. Chase expression. Each time you use English, remind yourself, I am growing. Let's repeat this final affirmation together, slowly. With full belief, I am a fluent English speaker. My confidence grows every day. I learn joyfully and fearlessly. My words are powerful and clear. I can speak English naturally and from the heart. Take a moment to let those words settle in. Feel them, believe them, because they are true. Now look ahead. Picture your future self, confident, expressive, and fluent. You're having conversations with people from around the world, understanding jokes, sharing stories, learning new things, and inspiring others. That's not a dream, that's your direction. And if someday you feel stuck again, remember this lesson. Fluency lives inside you. It's not in a textbook, not in a teacher, not in a perfect accent. It's in your courage, your emotion, and your daily actions. Speak, listen, learn, and keep going. Because every step counts. You are already on the path of mastery. You've built the mindset, you've practiced the habits, and you've discovered the psychology of English fluency. Now, carry that mindset wherever you go. Speak with kindness, learn with patience, and live with confidence. Because the world is waiting to hear your voice, your English voice. So let's end our journey with one last powerful declaration. Say it aloud, clearly and proudly. I am fluent in progress. I am fluent in growth. I am fluent in life. You've done something extraordinary. You've traveled not just through words, but through your own transformation. You've proven that with the right mindset, anyone can become fluent, no matter their age, background, or accent. Keep learning. Keep shining. Keep speaking, because your English journey doesn't end here. It only begins again, stronger, freer, and more beautiful than ever. Congratulations, fluent thinker. You've mastered the psychology of English fluency. And now the world is yours to speak.